Hey guys, good morning, good morning. So listen, I want to bring you guys a topic today called identity theft. So over the past few weeks, I've been watching a show, and one of the main ideas of this show is that there are a group of women that have been taken from one spot and now they have to live this completely different life that they didn't plan for and they didn't ask for. And so one of the first things that the people do who take them is they change their names. Okay, they change their names. And so as I was watching this show yesterday, I really began to think about that is absolutely what kidnappers do. Kidnappers and people who seek to hurt you, one of the first things they want to do is change your identity. And I remember even there was a story about a little girl who was kidnapped and they held her for, I want to say 10 or 15 years. And one thing they did was completely strip her of her current name and give her a new name. As a child, I was bullied a lot, mainly for my voice. I was called Mickey Mouse, Squeaky, whatever you could think of to make me feel less about myself. Those were the names that were attached to me. And if you stop and think, you probably have names that are attached to you that your mother didn't give you, but they're names that other people have decided that is your identity. And for some people, they continue to walk in this identity of who everyone else says they are. But I just want to tell you that is absolutely a trick from the enemy, because God is also a name changer, but he's a name changer in a way that will elevate you. He changed Abram to Abraham. Abram means father. Abraham means father of nations. It's an elevation. Okay. He changed Saul to Paul. Saul was a killer. Paul was one who enlightened the church, who helped the church to grow. He changes names, but when he changes your name, it's only for your glory. My mother, she named me Victoria, which means victorious woman. But as a child, when I thought Victoria, I thought of Royal Victoria's Secrets. But now as a woman, I think of Victoria as a woman of victory. And so same name, different application. And so I just want to encourage you guys to really start to think about exactly who are you and where have you gotten your ideas of who you are from, because you are who God says you are. He calls you beloved. He calls you friend. He calls you the apple of his eye. He calls you his favorite. He calls you lovable. He calls you worth dying for. But so often we don't believe those things because we have so many other things come in that are opposite, telling us something else. And a lot of it will cause you to question your worth. Right before I clicked record, my son, out of nowhere, decided to do something really interesting. So for those who know me personally, we just bought a house. And one of the things that the previous owners left in the house, they left a lot of things, but that's a whole nother video. But one of the things they left in the house was a dinosaur. And this dinosaur probably goes up like to my thigh. So he's huge. He talks, he sings, he pretends to be asleep, he mimics. It's crazy. I'm thinking, okay, well, this is probably like a $300 toy. Like, oh, that's so kind of them to leave this toy for us. Well, this morning, my son looked up the toy, and it turns out this toy is worth $1,200. Don't rob my house, but I'm just saying the toy is worth $1,200. Now, here's the thing. The worth has always been worth $1,200. I just didn't know it. It was in my possession. I had the ability to use it, but now that I know its worth, I'm going to treat it just a little bit differently. I'm not going to let the kids climb all over and go crazy about it because I know its worth now. They're going to use it and they're going to use it appropriately. And when you know what your identity is and you know what your worth is, you will use it and you will use it appropriately. You're not going to just let everyone treat you any kind of way because you know your worth. You know your identity. No one can strip you from it. And so listen, no one can strip you from who God says you are. No one can strip you from who he said you are called to be. You make a choice today that you're going to walk in the fullness of who he's called you to be, that you're going to walk in the fullness of your name. And I challenge most of you, because some of you guys have some names that I don't know where your mom got it from, I'm sorry. But most of you guys, look up your name. I have a friend named Brandy. When I looked up her name, I found out that it means to be admired. Ashley, if your name is Ashley, your name means messenger. Joseph, if your name is Joseph, your name means the one who adds. Most people have these beautiful names. They're walking around carrying all this power. Every time someone says their name, there's power attached to it, and they don't even realize it. All right, friends, find out what your name means. Walk in your true identity, who God called you to be. Write it out today. Write out everything that God has called you to be and walk in that. And let's go ahead and no longer allow the enemy to rob us and to change our name. He doesn't get to name you. Only the creator of the item gets to name the product. Steve Jobs got to name the Apple product because he was the creator. The creator names, the enemy doesn't name. All right, so listen, if you want more on this topic or any other topic about walking in complete victory, go to www.victoryspeaks.org, and I would love to talk to you guys more about it. Private message me or whatever you got to do. Share the video, and we'll talk soon. Bye.